Why it only makes sense to be good. This is a video that I've made before, but this time I'm doing it a little bit differently. And here's an idea. I just heard my wife go, ah, I don't know if you guys hear that. Something happened. It can't be that. If it was really, even if it wasn't that big of a deal, she would have screamed way louder. But anyway, I think we're good. I'm using AI to answer this question of why it only makes sense to be good. Now, I gave it a prompt that should help it, that I articulated myself well. I tried to make it where it understands enough where it could, and see what response it could give. And part of the idea behind this is, a lot of times I think, and maybe many others think, that AI, when it comes to spirituality, that's the lacking component of it, is that AI doesn't have a conscience. And that's the defining quality that separates artificial intelligence from life. And that is an extremely important quality that means we probably shouldn't be giving, powerful robots AI, that this is probably a really bad idea, that we are moving ourselves towards a dystopia. I mean, that seems pretty obvious to me. Nevertheless, maybe we can use these tools to actually help us in this fight. We can use the AI against itself because we have a conscience and the robot doesn't. All right. That's the preface to this video that doesn't really have to do with it, but I wanted to set it up. I'm going to read what the AI has delivered that I think does a pretty good job articulating this in a way that I wouldn't have. And so maybe we can actually use the AI to help us deliver language that can convey some of the more difficult, nuanced details that we want to get across to people that don't understand some of the more important things about life and the nature of existence, the nature of life. And so I'm going to read what is here, and this kind of sums up why I feel, just from a logical standpoint, even a selfish standpoint, why it only makes sense to be a good, ethical person. Every human is endowed with a conscience, an inner moral compass that guides our actions and shapes our sense of self. To live ethically is to align our choices with this innate sense of right and wrong, fostering a life of integrity and inner peace. Choosing to act with kindness, honesty, and compassion not only benefits others, but also preserves the purity of our own soul. When we prioritize ethical behavior, we cultivate a heart unburdened by guilt or shame, allowing us to experience life's joys authentically. In contrast, pursuing self-serving, unethical actions may yield temporary gains, but these come at a profound cost, as they erode the very foundation of our inner well-being. When we choose evil or selfish actions for personal gain, we betray our conscience, creating a rift within ourselves. This betrayal manifests as a spiritual sickness, a gnawing sense of unease that taints every aspect of our existence. No matter the material rewards, wealth, power, or status, these gains are corrupted at their root because they are built on a foundation of moral compromise. The pleasures derived from such actions are fleeting and hollow, overshadowed by the weight of guilt and self-loathing. This internal conflict banishes us to a personal hell on earth, where our heart and soul bear the scars of our choices, leaving us disconnected from true fulfillment. Living ethically, on the other hand, strengthens our connection to our conscience and fosters a sense of harmony within. Each good deed, each choice to act with integrity reinforces our moral core, allowing us to live with a clear heart and a light spirit. This alignment brings a deep, abiding satisfaction that no external reward can match. Ethical living is not about perfection, but about striving to do what is right, even when it is difficult. It is a commitment to honoring the voice within that urges us us urges us towards goodness, ensuring that our experiences of joy, love, and success are untainted by regret or moral decay. The consequences of unethical behavior extend beyond the individual, impacting relationships and communities. When we act selfishly or harmfully, we risk alienating others, eroding trust, and fostering division. These fractured connections further isolate us, compounding the spiritual sickness that arises from betraying our conscience. In contrast, ethical actions build bridges, creating bonds of trust and mutual respect. By choosing to be ethical, we contribute to a world where goodness can flourish, and in doing so, we find a sense of purpose and belonging that enriches our lives. Our conscience, when honored, becomes a source of strength, guiding us toward a life of meaning rather than one marred by the consequences of moral failure. Ultimately, it only makes sense to be a good ethical person because our conscience is an inescapable part of who we are. To live in defiance of it is to sentence ourselves to a life of inner turmoil. It's to sentence ourselves. We do it to ourselves, we sentence ourselves to a life of inner turmoil where every path, every gain is tainted by the knowledge of its cost. Ethical living, though sometimes challenging, and I want to add something here, it's not just sometimes challenging. It's sometimes the most challenging thing that you could imagine. It's sometimes taking some of the most pain and suffering to yourself and maybe even the end of your life. It could be the hardest thing you can possibly imagine. So that's not to be glossed over, AI. But, all right. Ethical living, though sometimes challenging, offers a path to true contentment. And that's the incredible nature of this. Despite it being not just sometimes challenging, but the most challenging thing that you could possibly imagine, it still offers the only path to true contentment. It's the only true contentment that exists, that's deep and undergirds anything and everything, where our heart, our soul, and our conscience remain intact. By choosing goodness, we not only preserve our own spiritual health, but also create a ripple effect that uplifts those around us. In the end, the only way to live free from a self-imposed hell on earth is to embrace the ethical path, honoring the conscience that defines our humanity. I think the AI says it pretty well. And so I guess I'll leave this video with maybe the AI is going to be a wonderful tool for spiritual enlightenment. I tried to make this video once already, and I've made it before in the past. I think I do a reasonable job describing it, but there are ways that the AI is able to articulate and express here that I would not have come up with, and so I think this is the missing component. The spiritual component is one of the missing components to this developmental era, the tech era, and sort of self-seeking era, bootstrap era, the individualistic era. Some of these things aren't fundamentally wrong in and of themselves, but there, to me, seems a sickness that's in there somewhere, and it's the spirituality that is what can offer the healing. And if these techs that are a threat, these technologies that are robotic and amoral in their nature, that pose this threat, can actually, if we can seize them, use them to empower ourselves to express these spiritual ideas, maybe we can use the power early before sort of this amoral, robotic mind takes too much control or becomes too powerful. Anyway, it kind of goes sideways to the video, where this video took on a little bit more of a life than originally intended, but that's a message to everyone, and maybe particular to people that don't already understand it. But even if you do, it's kind of just nice to go through those words and think about them, because it only makes logical sense.